Okay, now I'm gonna play it. Cabal. It's got cool title screen. I like anything that has skulls, like evil skulls that laugh at you. All right, Cabal. So yeah, there's a ton of. Let's see, where's my shooting button? Wait, this is just grenade. Oh, you gotta hold it down. Okay. Do I have limited grenades? Where's my? Oh, I have 4 left. There's like a ton. This style of like. There's also games like this that are light gun based. There's a lot of games. This probably came first. Was there? I'm assuming this is 88. I'm assuming this is before. No, I don't know. There probably is some game with a light gun that came before this. Oh, a gun. I want that. Oh, machine gun. But I think this is the first game of its type that you could basically sort of call this like a wild guns type of game. Like, it's not light gun based. Instead, you have the cursor that you move around, and you have your dude on screen, and you have to focus on dodging and aiming, but use the cursor to aim rather than a light gun. Because it would be kind of awkward to have a light gun but also have the dude on screen to move around. I don't know if any games do that. Oh, that's my machine gun. That sucks. But like this kind of game, this Cabal type, which eventually sort of culminated in like Wild Guns, maybe being like the best example of this kind of game. The cool thing about this is the fact that you can dodge enemy fire. Unlike a lot of light gun games that are sort of this style, like shooting gallery light gun games where you're just like shooting dudes that pop out at you. It's always like kind of more awkward. The actual like dodging, like a lot of times you just can't dodge at all in those, or rather than dodge, you have to stop the things from reaching you by shooting them. You stop the bullets or the missiles, or you just have to kill the thing before it attacks you. So it's like time based. But that, I don't know, it sort of feels better to be able to actually dodge than to have that sort of thing. I guess you're like trading the quote immersiveness of being behind the gun with the ability to like have your dude and dodge and stuff like that. Hey, this game's kind of cool. I don't know, it's sort of bare bones. The music is like very just. It's like it's very basic, but it's kind of cool. And it's just very simple, like dude in just a dude killing military dudes in a base, like very simple style, like military commando game. Oh look, helicopter, chopper. The death sound effects for the dude is kind of funny. Dick Tracy and Genesis. Wonder if I could have shot those grenades to stop them from coming. Uh-oh. Continue. I better put more credits in. Okay. You can continue right where you left off. So we got those pay-to-win mechanics. All right. That means I can maybe... That means no real challenge unless you want to CC, but I could at least spam through the game and see all the content. It's good for my purposes right now. The arcade version of this game has a trackball? Oh, does it? That's funny. It doesn't feel like it would have... This is another one of these games that feels normal with the D-pad. It doesn't feel like it'd be a trackball game. The chopper is pretty cool. This game feels a little bit on the easy side. It feels like if I just would have paid a little bit more attention, I could have easily got to this point without dying. It feels kind of easy. Well, I guess I don't want to... Hey, look, these are kind of like Space Invader shields. I probably shouldn't shoot my own shields. But they could have power-ups in them, too. The enemy's shooting the shields. Ooh, you can blow up the... You can blow up the plane. Nice. This game feels pretty good to play. It's pretty fun, despite being kind of so basic. I probably shouldn't try to kill the dudes who come to, like, you know, the good Samaritans who come to put the guys in the stretcher, like non-combatants. I shouldn't be killing those guys. That's like a war crime. Should leave them alone. It'd be kind of funny if you could kill those guys and then you get you lose points for committing a war crime. Enemy bullets. Yeah, that's part of the reason why this feels pretty easy. The enemy bullets are pretty slow. They're pretty slow, easy to deal with. But there's like no dodge button in this game, I think. Oh, there's a dodge button. Dude, this game even has a dodge roll. Wait, there is a... So there is a... I hadn't used it. You've got a dodge roll? Man, it's got everything. I guess all of these games have dodge rolls. Wow. I'm talking myself into... Oh, is this a boss? Talking myself into the 1cc. No, I don't know. I don't know if, like, I do want to 1cc some, like, certain arcade games I want to 1cc. Oh, wow, that's tough to avoid. But this would probably not be one of them. Like, you know, the game's got to have... It's got to, you know, only the most special arcade games do I want to 1cc. Like Roston. And maybe Osmond. So far, I've only 1cc'd 3 arcade games on stream. Oh no, how do I avoid this? Get in between there? Well, look at that. This is a pretty cool boss. And then one of those would be Mega Man The Power Battle, which is like a free, very, very easy 1cc. The other two took work. Lord of King, the arcade version of Astinax, totally different from Astinax. And Darius, the original Darius. I just 1cc them because it seemed like it'd be fun thing to do with those particular games. King of Dragons. Yeah, King of Dragons. That would be one that would be fun to learn a 1cc for because it's like it's such a cool, stylish arcade game. That would be a cool one. But I do want to learn Roston. I love Roston. It's one of my favorite arcade games. So one of these days, I'm going to learn this 1cc, that one. Game's so good. You think so, Traductus? Yeah, actually, you know what? It's surprisingly good. Like, it's surprisingly solid, even though it's so simple and basic. I like this boss fight. This is a good game. Got him. One of these days, MBD, one of these days I'll get a 1cc in Roston. Roston is worth it. I'm going to put in the time to learn it. Yeah, this game is fun. Level 2. So that was all level 1. I mean, the levels are long, though. Maybe this game is like a bit repetitive, if it has a weakness. But, I mean, you know, now we're in a totally different setting. There's a swamp. It's pretty cool. And there's divers popping up. The sound effects are so funny in this game. Oh, it's starting to get a little bit more challenging with all the bullets, I think. I think I missed those grenade pickups. Whoa! Chopper. Those grenades. Roston Saga. Yeah, Roston 2. But I still gotta play Roston 2. Roston 2 is pretty weird disappointment to follow up Roston 1, but there's still cool things about it. I gotta play through the arcade version. I was thinking of doing that now. Is Roston the game Volgar? I think Volgar is probably Yeah, I mean, it's one of several games, along with Abathor, that seems to have a little bit of Roston influence, but it's still not very Roston-like. It plays much more like Super Ghouls and Ghosts. I really don't know of any, like, more modern game that is properly Roston-like. Like a proper Roston-like would be awesome if there was one. It's definitely getting harder. Now it's starting to feel like the 1cc actually might be tricky. It's just the first stage is a little bit on the easy side. But the happy music when you beat a stage is pretty funny. It seems kind of out of place. You tried a little bit of Roston? I love Roston. I love our original arcade Roston. Roston 3 is also really cool beat 'em up. Roston 2 is like a weird, like, sort of black sheep middle child that people don't really care for because it's so weird. Graphically, it's so strange compared to Roston 1. It doesn't have the same... Like, it looks... Your sprite is so weird in that game. It's so strange looking. And it's got this very obtuse platforming. This very weird platforming. We have to, like, jump in between blocks. It's, like, very tight. You're, like, gonna make these weird jumps. And the stages are very abstract, much more abstract than Roston 1, where it kind of feels like you're traveling through mountains and castles and stuff. It's a very weird game, Roston 2. But it does have awesome music. I don't really care for Volgar. I don't care. Like, I just don't like the music is enough to turn me off. The game seems cool. I just can't really stand the music in that game. But it's cool in concept, though. Yeah, Roston is tough, because Roston is one of these early arcade games. I think that was 1987. It's one of the early arcade games that still had, like, normal game difficulty. It wasn't just purely pay to win. You know, like how, like, arcade games, at a certain point, they all became just pure pay to win, and that the only barrier to just progressing was money. Like, as long as you kept feeding money, you would eventually, you know. I like the early arcade games where there's actual, like, normal game design, like checkpoints, and maybe, like, even limited continues, where, like, you know, if you died, you would get put back, and you'd have to actually, like, you'd have to actually play the game halfway decently to get past whatever part you're on, and you couldn't just keep brute forcing the game with money. But that, you know, you can always just go for the 1cc, you know, that's how you add the challenge back into those brute force type of games. But Roston is very difficult to beat, even if you're just trying to beat it normally. I like that in an arcade game. But of course, the 1cc is even harder. It's not necessarily that much harder than just beating the game normally, the 1cc, because the thing with Roston is, like, it's one of those arcade games where on the final stage it takes your continues away. So on the final stage, like, you already have to 1cc the final stage as it is to be able to beat the game. But, I mean, it feels so good to play, though. Roston is such a cool, appealing game. Its aesthetic is so cool, and it feels so good to play. Oh, this is the boss. Nice. But I keep pressing the wrong button. I should throw all my grenades. See, this is also a 1987 or 1988 game, but this has the full pay-to-win mechanics where I really don't have to think about playing the video game. I can just simply keep throwing money in, and I'll just win. And it's only when you start going for, like, a 1cc that you actually have to, like, play the game. You have to learn to play the game properly. But that's okay, because I can just... It also makes it easier just to talk to chat and not pay attention to what I'm doing. And I can show off all the game's content, at least. Ross and Shinobi. Yeah, Ross and Shinobi are... Well, Ross and Shinobi both do the same thing as well. Shinobi also does that same thing, where in the final stage you are unable to continue. There's unlimited continues until the final stage, and it takes them away from you. And think a surprising amount of early arcade games did that. Like, you know, you're allowed to brute force the game to a certain extent with money. Like you rich kids were allowed to get, you know, to the final stage, but after that, only the worthy could beat Roston. Rich kids not allowed. Shinobi was like that too. I think Shinobi has checkpoints as well, if I recall correctly. Original Shinobi is a pretty fun game. I have not yet beat that game. It's actually hard to beat. These bosses take a lot of punishment. Let me try to not die. I feel like the music's not really that good in this game. This could be one of those arcade games where they barely put any attention into the music because they figured nobody would be able to hear it anyway. You know, it's so surprising. Like, a lot of arcade games have really good music. Which is surprising, isn't it, when you consider that, like, in actual arcades, you wouldn't really hear it. You wouldn't be able to hear the music most of the time. But maybe that was just more, like, American arcade games. Maybe in Japanese arcade games you kind of could. Their arcades, I don't know, maybe had a different feel because you had like, you know, they had like the cabinets you would sit down at. You'd sit down in front of the cabinet and maybe you were like a little bit closer to it. I don't know. You'd hear it better maybe. See, I would probably be better off just dying on purpose. To just get more grenade. I don't know, maybe that's resetting this guy's health bar. Maybe that's why this seems to take a long time now. But every time I die, I get more grenades, so if I just want to finish them quickly and don't care about credits, it's a strat I could try. We'll see if that works. That's true, sometimes you get a lot of stray arcade games, it's true. Give my grenades back. Oh, you don't get more grenades across lives. You only get more grenades on continue. Is this guy getting his health back when I continue? He might be. Because he seems to have very high health. Maybe you should try not to die. It's funny how this is like such a prototypical game, but yet the gameplay still feels very much just like Wild Guns. Wait a second, it shows. I just realized it shows his health bar down there, doesn't it? But is it even going down? Oh yeah, I guess it is. Wait, let me see if it goes back up if I continue. Oh, it does. Oh, shit, I didn't even notice that. It goes up. It goes back to every time you die. The life bar fills back up. Oh wow. So I should continue, throw a bunch of grenades, and then give it an attempt. It's only worth it if I can throw grenades first. Oh, the grenades aren't even doing that much damage. No, wait, they're doing a lot. It's just that his health bar got refilled. I didn't notice. Yeah, you know what? It's only worth, like, if you don't care about 1cc, you should just simply die on purpose to get the continue, and then on their first life, that's all that matters. Just the first life when you have grenades. I do remember High Score Girl. Yeah, that was a good anime. Do I need to hit it in the middle to actually be damaging it? Oh man. Okay, so the enemy. No wonder these things seem to have a lot of health. The enemy health bar is getting regenerated every time you die. That's a little bit crazy. That would actually make the boss fights challenging in this game. I just didn't notice with the first boss fight because it was still not that hard. But maybe later boss fights in this game are actually pretty tricky. Oh, now his health bar's turning red. I gotta watch out for the splash explosion on these blue bullets. Okay. Now I understand the boss mechanics. I wasn't paying that close of attention. The victory music's so silly. This game's music is... It's very silly. This type of environment sort of has like a Rambo 3 kind of look. Rambo 3 was so influential. In particular, Rambo 3. I feel like there's a lot of... Oh, man. Oh, I just noticed that there's enemy health bars for normal parts of the stage as well. Is that just like how much enemies you have to kill? And that's getting refilled every time I die as well? That's Rambo 2. Rambo 2 is jungle. If something is like jungle setting, it's Rambo 2 inspired. Something is like... Rambo 3 is like desert facilities. Especially like fighting... like garrisons of like tanks and troops in a desert. It's so goofy. Like you win, you get that little victory music, and then he does a little dance as he was going off. The game is so stoic for the most part, but then you get that little goofy little victory thing. It's pretty funny. Wow, I guess I should be saving grenades for boss. Oh, wait, okay, the enemy health does not regenerate when you continue. Like, in mid-stage, it's not regenerating. The red is staying there. Ah! And some of these enemies like roll to dodge your attacks. Boys! Watch out! Oh, they got me. Press the wrong button. I feel like the sound design in this game is it's a little too silly. The sound design is like the problem with this game. It's either too sparse or too silly, alternately. This game is pretty fun, but in terms of presentation, it's so outdone by a lot of its clones that I still, I don't think I would be, like, that hyped to, like, try to learn this game or play through it again. Of course I'll continue. The chopper got me. Get the gray guy. I feel like the proportions of some of these dudes don't really like match up that well. Like there's like big dudes and then like one pixel behind them there's like Little dudes half their size. Ah! So many dudes I can be shooting for points. I would get that shotgun, but you can't keep it in the next scene. That's like pointless, isn't it? Oh, yeah, I suppose in a way that's true, isn't it? Asian waste. But the thing is that Hollywood back then is different from Hollywood now. Looking to Hollywood back then, there's like so much cool stuff to get inspiration for. Pretty different. Now Hollywood wants to look at games and make TV shows. I get, yeah, I don't know, but like but also the games, a lot of them are already like so marvelized. I mean, it's all very incestuous. But I guess it always was. It's just that, you know, there's just cooler things to be influenced by back then. Maybe. You know. Aside from games that, you know, want to be inspired by games, older games. Like, a lot of games just want to be older games. Did this use a light gun? I don't think so. Like, games that would use a light gun usually wouldn't have the character on screen like this, and you have the... It's specifically designed... Like, it wouldn't really make sense. I don't think so. Maybe I could be wrong, but I don't think it would make sense with the light gun. Because you would still need a controller to move the character. Usually, yeah, usually games with light guns probably... you wouldn't have the character on screen. Maybe there's an exception. What is all this? Whoa, 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 watch out for the splash damage. Alright, I'm gonna beat this boss first try. This is not so hard. We can get this. Uh-oh! Oh, no, it's fine, it's fine. Everything's fine. Gotta make sure to keep their numbers thinned. Uh-oh! No, I dodged into it. Oh, his health... Look at that, his health bar Dude. I needed to beat him first try to keep the time down in this, but... Look at that. It regenerates his whole health bar. Whoa. Look at that. Can you defeat the truck to stop him from coming in? No. Oh, man, that's just one death sets you back so far. Oh, what do I do? Okay. It sucks when you dodge into it. Yeah, keep him off the screen. Alright, there we go. That's how you do it. Why can I not throw my grenades anymore? Oh, there we go. Oh, okay. Alright, there we go. Did it, did it. Gonna make sure to not die on those bosses so they don't take forever. Until Dawn has a movie planned. I'll tell you what the point of that is. That has an obvious point. Because then instead of playing a game that's just essentially a 6-hour, really, really generic, terrible horror movie, you can instead watch a movie that's only a 2-hour, really generic, horrible horror movie. And that's that way you can get the same really boring, bland, generic, badly written horror experience in 1/3 the time. So clearly there's a lot of call for that. That's the reason why to make the Until Dawn movie. Yeah, movies adapt movies into movies, they adapt books into movies, they adapt games into movies, they adapt movies into games. Everything is very incestuous. But good thing there's a lot of really good, popular new ideas, though. It's a good thing that, you know, in the movies and the games, there's a lot of new ideas that are, you know, this generation's Rambos and the Warriors and whatever, Conans. You know, all these really popular new ideas that everybody loves. It's a good thing there's lots of those, isn't there? You know? So, you know, the next generation, you know, will have all their stuff to be nostalgic over. Yeah, there's tons of those. Tons of those. Tons of, like, really, you know, awesome new stuff that everybody enjoys. Oh, I can destroy this building here. Yeah, take that, building! How dare you exist in my world? No buildings allowed. This game's pretty fun. It's just the presentation of the game is pretty bland and not that good, but it's still pretty fun. That's what you want Kojima from. That's what you want from a Kojima movie. Yeah, if Kojima ever made a movie, it'd be interesting. But he's making Death Stranding 2. I saw the trailer for Death Stranding 2. It looks like it could be pretty good. I wish that Kojima stuff wasn't as... The problem with, like, the, you know, newer Kojima stuff, including Metal Gear Solid 5. And I really like Death Stranding. Death Stranding is awesome, but I wish it didn't have to all be, like, these 100-hour big open world things, you know? I wish it could just do, like, more linear stuff or more classic video game style stuff like he used to. But, like, it's just, like, an unfortunate... Like, even Kojima has been modernized in that way. His stuff. And that is a shame. But Death Stranding 2 still looks cool. It looks like it's gonna have cool stuff in it. So, I don't know. It'll be... I want to play it, kinda. I'm not as excited to play it as Death Stranding 1, but I kinda want to play it, but at the same time... I just don't know if I'm gonna have... I don't know when I'm gonna find the time, because I have so much other stuff I want to play as well. So maybe I'll just not get around to it. Too many unskippable repeated cutscenes. I mean, like, seeing the monster drinks on the table every time and stuff like that. Yeah, that stuff doesn't bother me. I mean, so does Enemy Zero, but that's okay because it's like a god game. I mean, I'm not... That's not so much the problem to me. Skippable cutscenes, you know. I mean, I care more about, like, the overall... I still look at it as, like, an overall thing. Because, you know, like, Enemy Zero is, like, that's, you know... That's a combination of, like, an FMV horror movie, like, slash story with gameplay. But it's distinct, you know, the gameplay is, like, first-person, super high-intensity stuff. But then the story is the story, and then some of the exploration is FMV, and a lot of those FMV scenes are really slow and unskippable stuff. But it goes along with the game being, you know, more of like a cinematic story type of game, and that works better for something like Enemy Zero because it's like a 20-minute or 20. It's like maybe like somewhere between like a 10 and 20 hour experience, 20 hours max, depending on like how much trouble the actual gameplay gives you. Whereas, like, you know, Death Stranding, the thing with Death Stranding, I love Death Stranding, but it's like a game, to really get the most out of it, you have to just invest a lot of time into it, the Death Stranding. Yeah. It's just the type of game that's designed around spending a ton of time. Sort of, like, the satisfaction of it. I mean, it's well designed to be one of those games like 100 hours. As far as like these modern open world 100-hour games, it's the gameplay progression is so unique that it makes it worth playing for those 100 hours to like get the progression of like to do the unique gameplay of like the hiking through the landscape, a shark. Sharp, I don't know if I've asked you this before, but are you Shark Warp or are you a different person? I never was quite clear if you were Shark Warp or not, or if you're a different person. I was doing some YouTube videos, and you know, classic chatter Shark Warp is in there. You're a different person? Okay. Maybe I asked you before. Sorry. If I did, you know, sorry. But I need a reminder on that. Oh, okay. Well, you're preceded by legendary chatter Shark Warp, who's like, I don't know, like a young person who used to come to our chat like a long time ago. I think he maybe has still been here like as recently as last year, but... And just would sort of say silly stuff, and we always thought he was pretty funny. Valued member of the chat. But you are too, Shark764. All sharks are welcome here. Yeah, what was I saying? You like, yeah, Death Stranding, like, because Death Stranding is so unique and its gameplay loop is so good, its progression, like, it's got the really unique gameplay of, like, you know, hiking across the barren landscape and the very, all the very nuanced mechanics of, like, using all your, like, tech stuff to, like, sort of hike across the landscape, and then you gradually level up your technology, and eventually you're building roads, and you're building the, what do you call those things? The, you know, you do like to say silly stuff? There you go. So you're like you're the modern predecessor. Nothing wrong with that. That's good. Yeah. Zip lines. The zip lines. Like, that's sort of like the culmination of the technology. But of course, you know, like, once you've got, like, a zip line network built in between, like, all the different places you can, like, do your deliveries in Death Stranding, then at that point, like, you almost don't have to play the game anymore. Like, everything is free. You can just, like, zip line in between all the... And you can, like, increase your ratings to, like, maximum. But it's very satisfying, even though you essentially, like, technologied yourself out of having to do, like, the nuanced version of the gameplay. Because, like, you set up and built all those things yourself, like the zip lines. It takes so much investment, and then, like, the payoff is getting to use it to, like, you know, to just, you know, to just, you know, do all those deliveries really easily, and then, you know, like, also, like, making use of, like, the unique multiplayer aspect, like, making use of other people's zip lines within your network, because you might not have enough zip lines to be able to set up zip lines between everything, so you make use of, like, other people's zip lines. And, you know, I don't know, it's like, that's a really unique form of, like, game progression, you know. Most video games, game progression is just simply, like, leveling up. In that game, it's like leveling up your technology. It's very unique. It's a very unique style of gameplay. It's very satisfying. It's one of the few versions of these games that's really worth putting hundreds of hours into. And I think, you know, I think it's worth it to do that. Like, without that, you're not really getting the most out of the game. Like, the thing about Death Stranding that's so good is the gameplay more than the story. The story is interesting, but it is a bit of... It's a bit too much of, like, the modern Kojima overly indulgent. Not enough people... You know, kind of the same problem as, like, George Lucas, where there's just not enough people telling him no. That's the problem with, like, modern Kojima stuff. There's still a lot of interesting stuff in the narrative that's cool. And in many ways, it's better than a lot of other modern AAA narrative-based stuff. But still, it's got its weaknesses. I much prefer Kojima stuff for narrative than, like, David Cage stuff. I was about to press the roll button. Yeah, that's creation with the ecosystem of collective charity. Well, right, the way that you would like make use of other people's structures, and you could sort of, in various ways, you could like combine them with your own structures. Very interesting and cool. It's an awesome game. Like, it's an awesome. Despite it has a lot of indulgences and flaws, Death Stranding, but it's still like a completely awesome, like, unique vision of a video game. It's like one of these few like modern open world games that justifies its existence. You know, most open world games, like these big open world games, they exist just to simply be to try to be what the executives in suits think people want. And there's not really any kind of vision behind them. Like something like Horizon Zero Dawn is like the most soulless game you can possibly imagine. I think it's, yeah, well, FromSoft games are doing some of the same kind of stuff, but not really. It's unique enough. It's along the same lines in terms of like it's doing multiplayer in a more creative way than is the norm, but it's still different enough. And Elden Ring as well. Like Elden Ring is basically just open world Dark Souls, but that it does enough to justify its existence. It's not as creative as something like Death Stranding, but just simply open world Dark Souls, that alone is... I mean, the way that it sort of redefines like what an open world map, how that works, there's a lot of like subtle things that Elden Ring does to justify... Oh, this boss might be hard. Uh-oh, this could be a problem. Okay, we gotta eliminate the guns quickly. Oh, you can't because they keep coming back. Oh, no. I just need to... Okay, but I can just keep killing them as they spawn in. Wait a second. And does that do damage to the main boss? Oh! Oh, that stray bullet there. Okay, so just focus on... Now we've got like a hard boss. Focus on just killing the things on the side. Oh, but I think I have to damage the middle one to actually damage it. Maybe we'll just... You know what? Maybe these two on the left, I can just keep them dead. Watch out! And then watch out for that occasional bullet. The only thing I'll have to watch out for is that... No, but then... Okay, this is tough. Maybe this is the final boss. Let's just die to regain our grenades. And use all the grenades in the center part. I can't... Aww. Maybe there's actually a safe spot in this game. The bullets don't come to you. Try to keep these guys on the side killed. Maybe just this one right here. Because that guy's bullets, if I just stand here... but then again, there can be some conflicts, dodging situations. Whoa! But like his bullets force you to dodge into the other bullets, maybe. We should probably try to keep both of these dead. Oh! I tried to dodge. Oh. Now I need to die. Alright, this is good. Let's hit the focus on killing these two. This is actually a challenging boss. Kill these guys first, then grenade this guy. Do some rapid damage to grenades. Generally try to keep these things dead. Do a little bit more damage. Watch out for that! I pressed to dodge! I pressed... but if you don't press the direction, you don't actually dodge. You have to press dot. That's why I didn't damage. Okay, we need to refresh. Well, at least this boss has challenging. I like that the bosses at least have normal video game challenge, where you have to pay attention to what's going on. So that's cool. Whoa! No! man, that's why you gotta keep this thing dead. You guys want to talk about Death Stranding anymore? Stranding is good. Still, though, the thing with Death Stranding, I just don't know. I'll have to wait until Death Stranding 2 comes out to look at it. But it's a game where, like, even though I really like its unique gameplay and stuff, I'm not necessarily that excited to play Death Stranding 2 unless it's, like, wildly different. It does look like it has some cool new stuff in it, but I just don't know if it's different enough to really... There's so much other stuff I want to play instead. Do I really want to spend... I've got to choose very carefully when it comes to, like, these big open-world modern games. You know? Oh! I gotta choose very carefully. Well, that's close. Can I actually shoot the blue bullets as they come out? There we go. Zancredis. Or to walk in a desert landscape. Maybe that was the final boss. How's it going, Zancredis? What's up with you today? From the office of the commander. Good work, soldier. We commend you for your bravery in halting the armed forces of the terrorists. Return to headquarters. Your next mission awaits you. Monster Hunter? I don't know. I went through a phase where I was playing a lot of Monster Hunter 3, 4, and Generations after that. I never got into World. I wanted to, and I just never got around to World. And if I were to play more Monster Hunter, I would probably have to go back to World at this point. I've heard that, I will say, I've heard some complaints about with like the newest one. Well, like with each Monster Hunter that comes out after World, it seems like they get more and more casualized. And some people don't like that. And I probably don't like that either. Although, maybe they're so good, you know? And the character designs in the new Monster Hunter kind of look inferior to previous ones, I would say. Maybe. But otherwise, I don't know. It probably is still a fun game. New ones are too watered down. See that? Oh, Titus. I wonder if... I feel like I might feel the same way, but I don't really know because I still haven't played World. I really like the those middle ones. I really especially like 3 on the Wii U. That was my favorite of all the ones I've played so far. I will say that. But Monster Hunter World looks cool. I need to try it. The food design. I like... Some of the thing I like about Monster Hunter is the inaccessibility about it, like the stiffness of sort of the combat, where it's like this it's very deliberate and you have to pay attention to like what you're doing. And like if that changed in the newer Monster Hunter, I probably don't like that change. Like all the little things, like just having to know about the various systems, like sharpening your sword, your weapons, and how to like items and food and crafting, and like having to pay attention to all this stuff. That's helped to set it apart from other games, you know? So if they've toned all that stuff down, the food design. Yeah, food design is good. If they tone all that stuff down, I probably don't like those changes. But then again, if the core combat's still good, it could still be good. You know, I don't know. One of these days, maybe I'll try to catch up with the Monster Hunters. I also want to go back and play the original ones that I never played, like 1 and 2. I think that could be cool. Right now, I gotta rate another game. I gotta rate Cabal. Cabal's pretty good. I like that it has actual challenge built into it to a certain extent, just with like the bosses, without having to go for like a 1cc. It's a cool game. Like it's pretty fun, honestly, but it is a little too dry, a little too generic with like the straightforward military theme, and like it doesn't have a lot of character. The music is not very good. So I don't know, maybe a 5 actually. 3 for the music. But it is fun. Probably a lot of its clones are better, I suppose. Wild Guns is certainly a lot better of a game. Big steak with cheese on top. And I'm trying to watch my cholesterol lately. So that's the last thing I should be eating. Crazy analog stick combat. I don't know, was Monster Hunter 1 on PS2? At a certain point, like the Monster Hunters became focused on portables I think sort of like with, I don't know, because like Monster Hunter 3 was on portable system, but it was also on Wii U. I played on Wii U using like the tablet, and that's still like my favorite form. I don't know, having the tablet for like the map and that combination was really cool. And you could play the Wii U, you could play with somebody playing in portable. So playing multiplayer like that with like the person in the room playing in portable was really fun. That aspect was really fun about Monster Hunter 3. Um, but what I recall is like back in those days, it was like to play Monster Hunter, the thing was like you had to do the claw because it was based around like the DS, so you had to get used to like the claw grip or whatever. I never learned to do it that way. I never really had to. I guess that's more in the early ones. But the PS2 wouldn't be like that, right? Because PS2 had two analog sticks, so you wouldn't need some sort of claw thing. I'd be curious to try the original one. I wonder how that plays. Controls your sword so you move it up, down, to swipe around. That's interesting. Really? Oh, yeah. It seems interesting. I'd like to try that. All right, so we tried another classic arcade game, Cabal. It was pretty good. What are we going to play next? Let's see. I think it would make sense to now play one of the classic Cabal clones that was also very popular in the arcade, and that will be this. Rambo 3. I remember this game being big in the arcades, popular. Rambo 3, and this was a Cabal clone. I think it also had a popular home port as well. But I actually never played this. I never got around to this one. So now I can. It says 1989. 1 year after Cabal. Go figure. But this game, it looks like Cabal, but a much more stylish version of Cabal. So let's see how good Rambo 3 is. Been wanting to play Rambo 3. Oh, did I put down that I beat Cabal? Like I beat. What did I put down my time?